All right. So, hello everyone. So, thank you for joining us. So, today we'll be having a alumni talk session. So, my name is Yashas. I'll be your host. Yeah. Hello, Nikhil.
Hi, Yashis.
Yeah.
How are you
Hi.
doing?
Yeah, doing great. How are you?
Good. I'm also good.
Yeah. So, thank you for taking your time out and sharing your insights. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, today we have Nikhil with us, who is working as a uh, senior data engineer. So today we'll be sharing some insights uh, during the journey of data science or data engineer, and maybe what are the skills he has translated into the real world. Yeah, hello once more.
yeah, hi.
Okay, so can you just walk us through maybe from a student or from a student at DataMites to being a successful data engineer role? So what
Yeah,
was your journey?
yeah. So let me give you a little bit introduction about myself. So I have total 13 years of experience, and I basically started as a data engineer. So I worked in organizations like Oracle Data Engineering. Then I worked into a startup. Then I worked in JP Morgan Chase, and then currently I'm working in Ericsson Research and Development. So my career actually started as a pure data engineer, where I was working more over towards handling big data, handling Spark transformations, working on ETL. So my core skill was that initially. So then when I moved into my current organization, which is Ericsson, so there I realized that there is a push to move towards AI/ML side. So then I thought that, okay, I already have a data engineer experience. So let me get hold of some good course or good sort of a classroom course where I can basically get some basic understanding how AI ML stuff works. Because in my current organization, there was a role which was basically called a machine learning engineer. And I actually wanted to transition into that. So from a data engineer, I basically transitioned into a machine learning engineer. So then I thought that then I went across this DataMites CDS course, which I took, Certified Data Scientist course, which had this IBAC certification as well involved. So this course I took around in the year 2020 when pandemic was there. Around that time, I took this course, which was around more than 6 months. I think 6 to 8 months course was there, which involved a very good live session, classroom sessions, and then it has some capstone projects, then some other projects as well. So it was a very good course to actually understand how data science terminologies, how the basic of data science actually works, like what are features, how you train a model, how you fit a model,
Mhm.
and basically the basics of AIML. So that is how I actually thought of transitioning from a pure data engineer to a machine learning engineer. And this has really helped in my career because uh, currently in my organization, there is definitely in every organization now there is a push for AIML, right?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. So pure data engineers are, I think, very rare right now
Okay.
because that's what I feel. Because even if you are a data engineer, right, you need to understand what kind of data, because that data is definitely going to go into some AIML pipe.
Application.
Yeah, it has to go to some AIML application. So even to understand that also, as a
Mm.
data engineer, you need to understand what kind of features or what kind of data you actually require. So for that, this basic CDS course becomes a very good foundation, I'll say, because it gives you a good foundation, good
Mm.
understanding of how the stuff works in AIML, and then you can definitely build on top of that. There's a lot of specialization, right? You can specialize into
Gen
NLP.
AI.
Yeah, Gen AI is definitely coming into picture now. So yeah, so that's how my career actually is now going on. So currently I'm working as a machine learning engineer, although my role is senior data engineer, but my functional role is more over like machine learning engineer, where I'm building a end-to-end ML pipeline,
Okay.
where we have take the data from a data lake, we do some transformation, we do some
Mhm.
training, we do some inference on top of this, and then we show this in a dashboard. So that is how my current work is looking like.
Okay. So, according to you, this data science was a good base for you to build upon your skills.
Correct.
So, before coming to this course, did you have any kind of programming knowledge other than
Yeah,
SQL?
Yeah, so actually, I had a programming knowledge of Python, of course. So
Okay.
I was a like last my career started as a Java engineer. I was initially working as a Java developer.
Okay.
Then later on, I transitioned into a Python developer. Moreover, because all this is Spark and
Mm.
all these codes were written in Python, so I transitioned into Python, and then basically in data science also we are using Python, right? So that became very easy for me to adopt and to understand the stuff. So that's what it is. So for me, Python is my
Mhm.
main language, I'll
Main
say.
language.
Yeah.
Okay. So since you already knew Python, the course was pretty
Yeah,
well structured and it became easy for you, right?
correct. But if I understand, like you need a very limited coding skills, to be frank, and like AI ML, the coding skills that you, even if you don't know Python, by doing just because I think in CDS initial there was, I think, at least 4 to 5 classes which were around basic Python and basic
Mm.
pandas, basically.
Yes.
So that was, I think, kind of enough for you to understand how to code in Python or pandas or even Spark. So you don't require a very expert level coder to actually
Mhm.
write a machine learning code, right? So
Yes.
yeah, it's very low code approach, basically what we take, right, in AML mostly.
That's
So
right. So most of the people think it is heavily Python based, but
yeah,
you
and
are doing.
yeah, and basically in Gen AI also, if you see, right,
Mm.
because there is some work that we are doing even in Gen AI in my project. So
Okay.
in Gen AI, this low code approach is even more prominent, where the only thing that you need to focus is you generate a correct prompt, right? You
Huh.
ask the right questions to the prompt, to
That's
the
right.
uh, chat bot or some
Anything.
LLM models, right? So even there also coding effort is really low, and you can quickly skill up on that if you don't have a Python background also. I think it's easy to grasp those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So there will be two kind of audience. The one who is who want to go into data science or data engineering. So can you give some suggestions for learning patterns, resources, or any kind of things for a data science aspirant or data engineering aspirant?
So yeah, so see, for data, let me start with data engineering first. So
Yes.
for data engineering right now, so again, the volume of data becomes very important here, right? So
Okay.
first thing is, as a data engineer, you should understand what kind of volume of data you are going to write code for. That is very important here, because for different volume there is a different sort of approach, right? So if you
Correct.
take a big volume, then Spark will make probably sense for you. If it's a volume is not that much, you can go with pandas. And then again, the resources you can go for Spark, I think I looked into some resources which are there in Udemy. Courses are there, and you have some courses in Coursera, and you have those things, right? And even YouTube videos are also there right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and those things are basically very low code approach, as I told you, right?
Mhm.
So there are few basics, like if you make an initial program in Spark, then as and when you get a hold of a use case, okay,
Yes.
then your actual learning starts, right? So that is how even my learning also expanded in that way. Like initially, we were not in a project which was having good amount of data. So
Mm.
when we landed in a project where the data was more, just give me a minute. Yeah, I'm really sorry for that. Somebody was there at the door.
Yeah, that's all happens.
Yeah. So, can you start my video? I think I'm not able to start my video right now.
I guess, yeah. Okay.
Okay, now it's fine. Yeah. So the resources that are there, I think you have plenty of resources on some
Mm.
these portals, right? Udemy is there, and then you can get a sort of a how to do a quick start kind of a thing. So that can be a good starting point for you if you are new to this thing, right? And
That's
again, since it's a low code, you can do a quick start in your laptop itself, and then from there you can start learning. And then when you get into an actual project, then actually your actual learning begins, where you really got hit by a huge amount of data, how to handle it, how to do manipulations around it, what kind of problems you will get when you handle such a big data, how you will debug it. So then you, in the due course of time, you learn those things. So that is
yes.
around data engine. So for data science, I think, yeah, the foundation, you need to get a good foundation on top of it. So what I understood, like there are a lot of data science courses in the market, right? So I think
Plenty.
everywhere you see some data science courses being launched almost every day. But to understand the basic of data science, I think the course which DataMites is giving, I think I'm really a big fan of it. Like I have taken that course, even my wife has taken that course,
Oh,
even my two friends also took that course. So
fun.
because you need some foundation, right, to build advanced skills, you need to have a proper foundation, because it is as simple as that. What are features, like, so this is a very simple thing, like, but if you went through this course, you will understand those terminologies, those diagrams, and then you will have some basic understanding how regression works, how your classification works. So if somebody can take a classroom course on that, it becomes very good, because you can have an interactive session, you can ask your questions, and you can have a very clear fundamental.
That is
Because,
right.
yeah, so that's what I felt like. So Datamites is a good starting, and then on top of it, you can identify that, okay, I'm what sort of interest you are having. So again, in data science, you have different fields, right? Advanced fields. Like you can go into NLP, which is really picking up now. You can go into some GPU.
MLOps, yeah.
You can go into MLOps. Then you can go into object detection. You can go into deep learning
Computer
models,
vision, yes.
computer vision. Then you can go into deep learning models. So you have a lot of options after that. But foundation is very important, because
Hmm,
everything is built on top of it, right?
that's right.
So foundation is required even to understand LLMs, right? So how LLM is working, you need to know what are encoders, decoders. So all that comes from the basics, right? And
That is
once you know the basic, you can really get, or you can develop a good solution on top of it. So yeah, that's what my thinking is.
okay. So you're talking about data science course. So can you just elaborate, or can you just say the variety of things you learned during your classroom sessions or something?
Yeah. So my classroom, I was lucky that my session was taken by Ashok Veda himself. So I was a kind of a lucky in that way, because he was kind of a pioneer, and he's kind of a person who is having very good knowledge and wide knowledge. And it was a pure classroom course. So it was not even online. So I had to go to the classroom every weekend, and we took
Okay.
that. Yeah, we took that session, and yeah. So he started with basics, and like Python coding, pandas, then goes into statistical analysis, then missing data handling, your EDA, your transformation. So
Hmm,
I think every part of the every part, or you can say every stage of the ML development was covered in that course. And plus you get a very good understanding how the end-to-end stuff works,
hmm,
right? So
that's right.
that was very good. And then all the major topics were actually covered, like
Okay.
your regression, classification. So all those basic fundamental topics were covered in the CDS course. And I think exactly what was mentioned, that these things will be covered, those things were properly covered. And
Hmm,
after the end of the course also, good hands-on work was given, that even if we don't practice too much at home also, it was good that we were having good fundamentals.
okay. So
So
after your course, sorry, you're saying something?
yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead.
Uh, so after your course, your internship procedure, uh, like
Yeah.
how helpful was that? How, what all things you learned?
Yeah, so in internship, actually, the good thing was we were actually allowed to make some groups, like group of two or
Okay.
three people,
Hmm,
and we were formed in that groups. And some capstone projects, a list of capstone projects was given to us. And from that, I think we had to select some three or four
hmm,
projects, and those we have
projects.
to complete. Yeah, and there actually kind of an industry experience was given to us. Although the data was very small there, I won't say we
Hmm,
were doing a very big data sort of a processing there, only a small amount of data. But yeah, the solution that we developed has to be very comprehensive, like it should cover everything. We have to present it properly, and then most of the aspects of data science was covered in that. So it gave us a very good, basically we applied whatever we learned during the course of our training, and that we can apply it in our capstone project. And then after that, that IBAC certification was also there,
huh,
right?
yes.
So yeah, so in that IBAC certification also, we got one problem where we have to solve, which was, I think, pretty easy, because we had already done a lot of projects around it, so it was not a problem for us.
So
We,
certification was quite simple.
yeah, certification, that we can do very easily if you thoroughly went through everything. You
Hmm,
covered most of the aspects, and you can actually go through. So you won't believe that those projects I'm still using in my current work. If I get stuck somewhere, I
uh-huh.
look into those Jupyter notebooks that I have.
Okay.
that
That's
kind of
interesting.
give us an end-to-end. Okay, if you get a problem, how you will solve a regression, as simple as that. How you will solve a
Steps.
classification problem, steps.
Okay.
So, and those were really good. Like they were really proper steps that we follow, and then you can
Hmm.
really show
Debug your code. How can make?
debug the code. You can understand the code. You can actually present it to somebody. So yeah, it was pretty
Yes.
exhaustive and pretty useful. Correct.
Okay. So, like, since you're already working in this data engineering domain since it's almost a decade now, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, correct, correct.
So, can you just share what are the recent trends and what are the things that might happen in this field?
See, data right now, everybody is trying to do some AI/ML on top of their data. Every organization. So
Hmm.
organizations which were actually sitting quietly before, now they are also becoming very active. They're
Okay.
getting the data and they are trying to get some insights out of it. Okay.
Okay.
So big data is definitely, so now the thing is, the volume of data is very important, because right, so you need to train your model. Your model has to be trained periodically. You should get some quality data. So quality and enrichment of data is right now very important. The better we make our data, the better sort of outputs we will get from AI/ML, right? That's how it is.
Yes.
So that is very tricky part, that how you can enrich your data basically, right? Because in every domain, right, like currently I'm working on a telecom domain, right? So
Okay.
telecom domain is like your, as simple as your 4G data or 5G data that we have. So
Yes.
currently I'm dealing with massive amount of data. Okay. So the
All
kind
right.
of use case that we have in telecom is something like a anomaly detection, where you're trying to find out some anomaly in a tower, say 5G tower.
Correct.
So 5G tower is generating massive amount of data. But the problem with the data, it's lot of noise, lot of junk.
Okay.
So we need to find out ways to process that data efficiently. And Spark and your Splunk, all those things are actually becoming very hot right now.
Okay.
Specifically, I can say Spark. So because Spark integrates very well with some orchestration engine, it works well
Yes.
in your Kubernetes cluster, works well on cloud as well. So most of the
Mhm.
clouds are also offering that. So that is one technology very hot right now in data science. And because
All
people
right.
are moving to cloud, although my
Hmm.
project is not on cloud because my company is sort of on premise sort of a
Hmm.
stuff that we
Okay.
are doing. So we are not on cloud right now, but yeah, people are moving to cloud also to handle and store data. So that is what it's going to stay for long, because definitely you need. And then on the ML side, yeah, the traditional ML algorithms are already there, and LLMs are also coming into picture.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we have a question from the chat section.
sure.
Uh, so the question goes like this: I have 2 years experience in Python. Now going through data engineering course at DataMites.
Mhm.
Can you please suggest me how to switch company wise? Will there be any opportunities, tips, or tricks?
Yeah. So see, 2 years of experience in Python, then you can. I think if you are having some Python experience, getting hold of any PySpark or Spark technologies for data processing will become really easy for you. That is one thing. Okay.
Okay.
Companies are looking right now for people with this sort of a skill, like PySpark and Pandas becomes very easy for you to adapt, right? If you already have two
Yes.
years of experience, then it becomes even easier. And companies are definitely looking for resources like that. Because data engineering is something that every company is dealing with data, right? So all the ETL flows, all the transformation, everything is going to be written in that.
That's
So yeah, so for you, transforming in any companies will become very easy, but you have to, if you're going for an interview perspective, to be frank, the one very big question that comes into picture, and that we also ask if people are joining, right, how you can improve the performance from Spark, right? That is the
absolutely.
whole idea around it, because in Spark everything is happening in memory, right? So performance becomes the biggest, I'll say, the biggest, you can say, bottleneck in Spark,
Uh,
how you can get performance out of it, right? So
that's
if you make your systems, your resources perfect, you can get really good performance, right? But if your systems are not properly configured, you don't have the correct settings, you don't have proper understanding, your systems will fail also like anything, right?
Mhm.
So if you
Yeah,
are going
optimization.
into, yeah, there are a lot of like, because Spark is very tricky in that fashion, because
Okay.
internally it will do a lot of things. You will
Mhm.
write one line of code, one line of transformation you will write. internally it will do all disk writing, it will do all shuffle, all partitioning, a lot of things will come into picture. So what I'll recommend, if you are going for a data engineer, you should understand Spark, and you should understand the internal working of Spark and how you can get performance out of it. So these are the three basic, I'll say basic points I keep in mind when I go for a data engineering interview, or any sort of even when I'm taking an interview, I look that candidate should have an idea how the internal things are working and how you can get performance out of it, how you can troubleshoot the things. That's very important for interview perspective.
All right.
Hope I
Okay.
answered. Yeah,
Yes, that was answered. So we'll just take one more question.
sure.
Uh, so how, I guess we answered this question. How can we keep up with the new technologies and trends? If you could
Yeah.
brief on.
So first thing to keep up, I'll say you should have a passion about it, because unless until
Okay.
you don't have a drive, right, you should have some
Mm,
drive that okay, what's coming in the market, because it's not that every time you will be working on the latest technologies for sure.
that's
Like
right.
if suppose Gen AI and LLM is coming, right, so you don't expect that the next company you are working, or even in your current company, that you will be getting an opportunity to work on that. That's what happened with me. So
Oh, okay.
in my 13 years, it's
Mm,
not like every time I used to work on a cutting edge technology or the latest that is there in the market, because company will take its own time to adopt those technologies, right? So
okay.
it's your inner passion, drive, and excitement that will keep you going, actually. That will
That,
actually help you to learn new things, to understand what's coming in the market, what you see, what is the buzz around. So that's how I'll say that that's the only way to keep yourself updated. And then you have to take the very good training material, and everything is available online, right?
that's
So you can take those courses, be active, get some time out of your normal working hours to put some focus into that, and that way you will be excited like what you do. So there should be some inner passion and inner this thing, what I say,
fire.
inquisitiveness to basically learn new technologies. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So let's check the questions one more. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time. So thank you everyone for attending as well. So hope you found this session helpful. Yes. Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you
Yeah,
for your
thanks a
valuable
lot.
time.
Yeah, it was nice talking to everybody. Thank you. Bye. Have a nice day.
Same to you. Have a nice.